It's about creating conversations. Arrow.net, ARROE.net. We are unplugged and totally uncut with John Waters. Man, I got to tell you, this book, John, I wish that you could be like Jackie Collins and give us a book like 2 and 3 times a year. You know how to write, and you know how to get inside of our imaginations.
Thank you very much. I wish, because it took 3 years to write the book. I don't know that Jackie Collins takes that long, but Barbara Cartland's always the one that said she just picks up a tape recorder and says, chapter 1, and starts talking, and that's the whole book. That has to be a lie.
Well, as a creative spirit, I mean, it comes out as like one thought at a time, and then it might be a week or so before you can even build upon that sentence.
Well, I develop characters, and I keep notes, and I think up the plot and everything. And then once you start writing, you just keep going. And then you finish the first draft, and you read it, and it's like, who wrote this? Somebody you don't even know. And then you go back and rewrite. And rewriting is when, if it's ever going to get good, each time it gets better. And that's when it really gets satisfying.
Do you go through what I call it fermenting? When I think I'm finished, I'll put it away for about maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then I come back to it as the reader and not the writer.
No, but I read the whole book out loud because I write by hand, and so my assistants to type it, my handwriting is like a Cy Twombly painting, so I basically read it out loud, and then I can hear, am I using that same word again? Is it, I can hear the tone of it and everything. And then I don't go back, but each time I rewrite it and everything, it gets better. And when you know you're done is when you put something back in you cut out.
I am basically I'm a writing instrument whore. I really am, because when I sit down to write a book, I have to go get a new Mont Blanc. Are you the same way? Do you use different writing instruments when you write it out like that?
Yeah, I have the exact Bic pen that I need, which is Crystal Bic Black. I have to have the exact legal pads I use, which are called, I have one right here, it's called Ampad Gold Fiber. I use clear Scotch plastic tape and the right kind of scissors, and I have them in every place I live. I have a carry-on version of them for airplanes. So, yes, I have to have the right equipment.
Oh, my God, the texture of paper is what inspires me to want to write. I mean, I'll sit there when I'm buying these journals or these books and stuff like that. If I don't feel it in the texture, it's not going home with me.
I know, but it doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to do it. Some people write in the middle of the night. I get dumber as the day goes along, so I have to write right when I wake up. But it doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you just have to do it every day. That's the key.
So when you were putting together Liarmouth, sex, crime, family dysfunction, this right here says, put me back in that lockdown. I want to enjoy this entire book in one moment.
Well, lockdown didn't affect me that much because I write every day in my house anyway. Yep. I know a lot of writers, though, that had trouble during the COVID. They said that once they had no excuse not to write, they couldn't. To me, it really didn't make much difference because I go in there and write every day anyway. But at the same time, I'm always reading a million newspapers. I'm a spy. All writers spy on people. Yeah. They eavesdrop. They ask too many questions. I have a friend that says, why are you always asking questions? Because I'm a writer. That's what you do.
That is so true, dude, because, during the lockdown, I took up a job at a grocery store because I just wanted to be with people. But, man, to sit there and listen to them, I'm going, I'm stealing this. Oh, my God. You
worked in a grocery store. I loved it when people were wiping down groceries like an insane Joan Crawford.
It's so true, though. But people are less freaked out about it now. But, boy, they've got some stories, though.
Oh, sure. And then I know some people that still have not left their house. And to me, it's a thin line. I've been flying a lot lately, and I haven't been duct taped to the seat yet, but that could be coming.
Dogs and children hate her. Everybody hates her. She's got that kind of a personality.
Yeah, she does. Well, dogs intrinsically know that she's evil, and she found birth shameful. She hates her own daughter, and she tries to kill her mother too, because her mother liked dogs better than her, and her mother has become gives facelifts to pets. That's her business.
So now
which is not so hard. That's coming. That'll be soon. That's going to happen soon anyway.
Well, when she sits down and she tells the truth for the very first time, was that a wine glass moment where you go, well, I better do it. I'll take a chance on this?
No, I knew that was going to be the backstory, but I waited, to tell that story. And it's so ludicrous what happened to her and so ridiculous. But she tells it as if it is recovered memory, the worst trauma that ever happened to her, which it could have been, I guess, if it was true. But then she finds her match because he steals from her and he has a worse story. And together they take their dysfunctions and make it powerful together.
Doesn't it invisibly prove that opposites do attract?
I think opposites do attract. But that's not always true. I never understood people that their boyfriend or girlfriend looked exactly like them, or they fell in love with themselves. I always like somebody that's the opposite of me. I don't feel like dating myself.
that's like
masturbation,
right? That's like when people say that a girl marries basically her father, someone who looks like her father, and it's like, I don't know about that.
No, that's incest.
Right. So then, how do you write a smart, disturbed, and on-the-run style book in the way that it's got to affect your emotions as a writer because you put yourself in those moments?
Yeah, I just try to imagine. I mean, to be honest, a lot of this book takes place in airports, and I am on tour constantly, so I'm in airports all the time. They say, write what you know. And once I started thinking about all the illegal things that could happen in airports, I would go to the airport and walk around. I felt like security was watching me or something. But to see how you could pull the scams and but I had to know on which level does this happen and how the bags come down and how long it takes and all that kind of stuff. So I went back to the airport even when I wasn't traveling to do research, definitely.
So
and to learn everything about people that are crazy about trampolines, which I knew nothing about.
Now I'm a believer in Native American spirituality and totem animals. You really do describe your life as being a wolf. Or is the wolf your totem animal?
What did I say about a wolf?
In other words, the wolf is the silent watcher, and you seem to be the silent watcher that you can step back, look at life, and then write about it.
Well, I'd like to, but I find I make fun of things I love, and I kind of find joy in everything in behavior I can't understand. That's always interests me, of people's obsessions or cults or all that kind of stuff, is why would they? And then I learned to see how they see. I believe no one's born guilty. There's always a reason something happens. And that reason is what keeps me going, to try and understand behavior that is unfathomable to me.
So basically you're documenting life then. Because maybe that's the reason why I have such a relationship with this book, is because I feel like that you're right here with us.
Well, good. I hope so. I'm just trying to tell you a story, so it seems like I made it up right then in my own voice, even though it took 3 years and took 6 drafts. And that is storytelling. And it's about how you tell your story to keep people interested. You set up a world. It has to be true to the rules of that world, even if it's surreal, even if it's completely ludicrous. There's still continuity that has to work.
How much of this ended up on the cutting room floor? Because I mean, when you have the attention of a reader, you can't put everything in it, from the kitchen sink in. I mean, you've got to be able to sit there and go, okay, this is the rhythm, this is the pace, this is all I can give today.
Yeah, I think you cut out things every time you rewrite it. So I didn't cut out one whole chapter or anything, but I changed the plot a lot. And to make the plot more believable, you go back, and even when you do the copy editing at the end, that comes up. So they point out things that you didn't realize, and it's so complicated because she's always stealing clothes and putting on different outfits. So I had to have all these charts about what people were wearing and because that's what I mean. You can't, even though it's fiction, it has to be realistic what happens. They can't have the wrong outfit on the next page. They used to call that a continuity girl on movies. I don't know why there's a continuity person, of course, today. But the old term was continuity girl. Why it was always a woman, I don't know. I guess they were more orderly.
So then, as that writer, do you feel like that you're also directing a film when because I mean, your imagination has got to go somewhere when you're putting those paragraphs together?
Well, it's a relief because I don't have to, when I write a scene, I don't think, how are we going to do this? How long is that going to take? How much is that going to cost? Do we have to test this in a test screening in a place where they're going to hate it? So you have more freedom writing a novel than you do a movie, definitely.
Are you going to turn it into a movie? Are we going to see it on Netflix or anything like that?
Maybe somebody else will. Maybe somebody will have to buy my novel to make a movie out of it.
See, you are the businessman, aren't you?
Yeah, no, and then they could pay me to do it. That's adding an extra paywall.
John, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you so much.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay, sir?
All right. I'll do my best.